There are 5 questions that cut straight through excuses and expose whether a woman is being honest with you or not. These aren't tricks, and they're not about trapping someone. They're simple, direct, and impossible for a liar to answer without giving themselves away. Because when the truth is real, it comes out instantly. But when someone's hiding something, hesitation creeps in. The pause before the answer, the nervous glance, the sudden shift in tone. That's where deception lives. Today, I'm going to give you these 5 questions and break down exactly how hesitation exposes the truth. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button and tell me where you're watching from. What makes these questions so powerful is that they strip away comfort. An honest woman responds with clarity and ease. A dishonest one reveals herself the moment the silence between your question and her answer begins to stretch. The power of hesitation. Every man needs to understand that hesitation is not just silence, it is a window into the truth. When someone is being honest, their words flow without effort. They don't need to think twice or build a story in their mind because the truth doesn't need rehearsing. But when someone is hiding something, that natural flow breaks. The brain has to work harder, scrambling to create a believable version of events that matches what they've already told you. That tiny pause before she answers, the sudden delay before her words come out, is often the first red flag that something isn't adding up. Most men ignore hesitation because they want to believe what they hear. They accept the answer at face value and tell themselves she was just tired, distracted, or stressed. But hesitation is rarely innocent. It's the brain's way of buying time. Every fraction of a second she spends thinking before responding is a calculation, a search for the safest response that won't expose her. And the truth is, the more serious the lie, the longer the hesitation tends to be. You can almost hear the gears turning in her head as she tries to patch holes before they appear. Think about the difference between asking someone their name versus asking them what they were doing last night. One answer comes instantly because it's undeniable. The other, if there's something to hide, comes with a stumble, a stall, or an overly detailed explanation. That's how lies work. They require effort, and effort always reveals itself. Hesitation doesn't just show up in speech. Watch her body language in those moments. A quick look away, a sudden swallow, or a nervous laugh often fills the silence before the words finally come. That combination of verbal and physical pause is the strongest signal that the truth and her words don't match question 1. Where were you really? Asking where she was is the most basic question, yet it carries the most weight. When someone has nothing to hide, the answer flows without hesitation, direct and simple. I was at work. I was with a friend. It comes out clean because it's rooted in truth. But when she's covering up, this simple question turns into a trap. A liar doesn't just answer, she edits, she filters, she rehearses in real time. That's why you'll notice the pause. The words don't come immediately. She hesitates because her brain is searching for a version of the story that sounds believable but still conceals the reality she doesn't want exposed. If you ask her where she was, and the answer suddenly feels too polished, too detailed, or too defensive, that hesitation already did its job. Truth is short, lies are long. A woman who was genuinely at a place doesn't feel the need to pile on extra information, but a woman who's hiding something feels that pressure. She'll overshare, filling the silence with unnecessary details, thinking that the more she says, the more convincing she'll sound. But that delay before she begins is the giveaway. Pay attention to tone as well. Sometimes she won't pause in silence, but the hesitation hides in her voice. Her words may rush out faster than normal, or she may suddenly speak softer, as if lowering her tone will make the lie less noticeable. A nervous chuckle, a sudden shift of her eyes, or a quick swallow before she answers are all signals of hesitation disguised as casual behavior. The truth doesn't need convincing, but lies always do. And the first question that exposes this pattern is the simplest one. Where were you really? Question 2, sir, who were you with? This question has the power to corner someone in a way that few others can. It's not just about the location anymore, it's about the people tied to the story. When someone is telling the truth, the answer comes quickly because it doesn't need filtering. If she was with a friend, a family member, or a coworker, the name rolls off her tongue without resistance. But if there's something she wants to keep hidden, hesitation shows up like a shadow. Her mind now has to do more than just create a story. It has to connect names to that story, and one wrong move can unravel everything. You'll notice the pause because she knows that once a name is spoken, it can be checked. A location can sometimes be vague, but a person is solid proof. A lie attached to a name becomes fragile, and she knows that if you ever cross-check with that person, her entire cover collapses. That's why hesitation is strongest when you ask, "Who are you with?" She isn't just deciding how to answer, she's deciding whether the risk of including a real name is worth it. Some liars will stall by repeating your question back to you. Others will act confused, as if they didn't hear you clearly, buying themselves a few seconds to invent a response. Some will throw out a name quickly but with uncertainty in their tone, as if testing whether you'll accept it without question. And then there are those who flood the silence with unnecessary context, describing conversations, places, or random details to distract from the fact that the actual name took too long to appear. When hesitation meets this question, it's rarely innocent. The delay signals a calculation happening in her head, and that calculation almost always means she's trying to protect a truth she doesn't want you to know. Question 3. Why didn't you tell me earlier? This is the kind of question that forces someone to explain their choices, not just their actions. When you ask why she didn't mention something sooner, the truth should be simple. If there was no hidden motive, she can answer immediately because there's nothing to defend. But when she pauses, even for a few seconds, that hesitation is her mind scrambling to build a justification. Lies require reasons, and reasons take time to invent. That pause becomes the most revealing part of the conversation because it shows that her explanation isn't ready-made, it's being crafted on the spot. A woman who's honest about her intentions won't need time to think. Her response will match her behavior naturally. But if she's concealing something, you'll notice a shift. She might look away, sigh, or take a deep breath before answering. She might even act offended, using emotion to cover the gap where the truth should be. The more she delays, the clearer it becomes that she's searching for a way to make her silence seem harmless, when in reality it was deliberate. Sometimes the hesitation here is disguised as over-explaining. Instead of directly answering why she kept quiet, she'll start listing unrelated details, hoping to distract you from the fact that her delay in telling you was intentional. The story grows longer, more complicated, and yet the real answer still feels missing. That moment of stalling is the key. When the truth is pure, it doesn't need excuses. When the truth is hidden, hesitation becomes the bridge to a lie. By asking why she didn't say anything earlier, you're putting her in a position where honesty requires no thought, but deception demands preparation, and preparation always creates silence before the words come. 4. Why didn't you tell me earlier? This question digs into intention, not just action. It's one thing for her to say where she was or who she was with, but it's another to explain why she chose to keep it from you. When someone is telling the truth, they don't need to hide details. They don't need to delay sharing something because there's no risk in being transparent. But when a woman is hiding something, silence becomes her weapon, and this question exposes it. If you ask her why she didn't tell you earlier and she hesitates, that pauses her scrambling for an excuse. She needs to make her silence look innocent when, in reality, it was intentional. The mind works fast when it comes to telling the truth. But when it comes to covering a lie, it slows down, searching for justification. That's why hesitation is so powerful here. Some women will deflect, acting like the question itself is unfair. Others will suddenly give too much detail, explaining every unnecessary step in an attempt to bury the fact that they deliberately kept you in the dark. That's how you know the hesitation isn't just silence, it's strategy. They're stalling, building a defense, trying to make their omission seem harmless. The truth doesn't need defending. Lies always do. And when you ask why she stayed quiet, you're forcing her into a corner where honesty is instant, but deception takes time. That time, that hesitation, is the answer you're looking for. Question 5. What are your plans moving forward? This question flips the game entirely. Liars can sometimes build convincing stories about the past because they've had time to prepare them. But when you bring the future into the conversation, everything changes. A lie doesn't naturally extend forward. It's built for the moment, not for what comes next. That's why hesitation becomes unavoidable when you ask about her future plans. If she's being honest, her response is clear, straightforward, and confident. She knows what she's doing, she knows her schedule, and she has no reason to hold back. But if she's hiding something, the pause before her answer tells the story. You'll notice vagueness, stalling, or answers that lack commitment. Things like, I don't know yet, or we'll see. Those aren't casual statements, they're shields. They buy her time because she knows the more she commits, the easier it is for you to catch the lie later.
Future questions also test consistency. If she hesitates now and gives you a weak or vague answer, she has to remember that same answer later. Every pause she takes in the present increases the chance she slips up in the future. That's why liars hate future focused questions. They expose the weakness in a story that was only built to cover the past. Watch closely here. Hesitation paired with vague language is the clearest signal of dishonesty. The truth about the future is simple. Lies about the future collapse the moment they leave the mouth, and hesitation is the first crack you'll see.